The night sky over Earth's largest cities shimmered with a new constellation, visible to the naked eye. At first, it was dismissed as an artificial satellite or a meteor cluster, but within hours, the global news networks were broadcasting live feeds of the ghost star, a blue-white beacon hovering silently above the upper atmosphere. Astronomers raced to analyze it. Military strategists braced for the unknown. The United Earth Federation's Security Council held an emergency session that lasted through dawn. All agreed this was no human creation. At exactly 7:12 UTC, every screen, speaker, and networked device on the planet flickered with a single, resonant tone. It was followed by a cascade of colors and symbols, then a voice at once alien and eerily familiar. "We come not as conquerors, but as witnesses. You stand at the threshold. We are the Xylarian Collective." It wasn't an invasion. It was, impossibly, a greeting. First contact protocol. The United Earth Federation (UEF) had prepared for this day. Since the mid-2000s, a council of scientists, diplomats, philosophers, and, most importantly, translators, convened in orbit aboard the Argus, the Federation's pride. 3 kilometers of ship, armed with the best humanity had to offer in science, defense, and negotiation. The Xylarians requested to meet face to face. A portal opened, humming with fractal light, and 3 figures emerged, tall, crystalline, their skin a swirl of shifting blues and silver. Their eyes, if they could be called that, flickered with intelligence. Admiral Naima Chowdhury greeted them, flanked by Dr. Alexis Okoye, the head of linguistics, and Captain Kara Jansen, a decorated war hero whose neural implants gave her the reaction speed of a supercomputer. The Xylarian's voice was melodic, echoing in the minds of all present. "We have watched your world from afar. You have crossed the quantum horizon and awakened your planetary mind. You are now eligible for the communion of worlds. For the first time in centuries, humanity felt collectively small. Yet the delegation maintained their composure. "Thank you for your greeting," Dr. Okoye replied, her words translated in real time by her neural AI. "We welcome you in the spirit of peace and mutual understanding." Measuring humanity, Xylarians had visited over 100 sentient species. In their experience, newly spacefaring civilizations were awestruck, cautious, sometimes fearful. Earth's delegation, however, met their gaze with steady, calculating confidence. They toured the Argus, marveling at its fusion core and gravity manipulation fields, technologies the Xylarians considered advanced but not unheard of. What stunned them was the integration. Organic circuits pulsed alongside nano-forged alloys. Crew members communicated instantly through psi-links, and the ship itself was aware. Its AI and emergent being named Lyra. As they observed, the Xylarians sent silent messages to their ship, updating their leaders on humanity's capabilities. "Their technology is adaptive," one noted. "Almost alive." A demonstration was arranged. In the ship's test bay, human engineers unfolded a wormgate from raw vacuum, forming a stable portal in seconds, something the Xylarians believed required immense stationary infrastructure. Drones emerged, morphing mid-flight from surveyor to fighter class, responding to commands with a thought. But it wasn't just hardware. The Argus crew included conduits, humans, who'd unlocked psionic potential using a fusion of meditation, gene therapy, and nanotech. The Xylarians watched as a conduit levitated a metallic sphere, warping its surface with a touch, then linked with Lyra to generate a simulation so real it fooled their own sensors. The underestimated power of Xylarians, ever logical, had a cultural blind spot. They assumed power followed a strict ladder of development: first matter manipulation, then energy mastery, then, perhaps, mind. But humanity, in its messy, contradictory way, had leapt across rungs, blending creativity and chaos, discipline and risk. Privately, the Xylarians conferred. "Their progress is not linear," one envoy transmitted. "They are unpredictable." But they underestimated the human drive. For every scientific marvel, there was an artistic flourish, a subtle human touch that defied programming or prediction. When the Xylarians tested humanity's ethics, presenting them with simulated moral dilemmas, the humans offered solutions that transcended binary outcomes. They sought compromise, innovation, even self-sacrifice. When the Xylarians subtly tested Earth's defenses deploying harmless probes to challenge security, the probes vanished, only to be returned, fully intact, with a digital thank you and a detailed analysis of their weaknesses. It was a message: we see you, and we are not afraid. The realization's Xylarian leader, known as Vale, finally addressed Admiral Chowdhury privately. You have built a civilization both rational and passionate, fierce and compassionate. Tell me what drives your people. Chowdhury answered with a smile. We were shaped by adversity. We learned to adapt, to question, to hope, and to dream beyond our means. We know peace because we have known war. We build bridges because we have known what it is to be alone. We are many things, but above all, we endure and we aspire. The Xylarians realized with a jolt that humanity was not a junior species, in need of guidance or control. They were a force perhaps the greatest the galaxy had ever seen, and for the first time in their long, storied history, the Xylarians felt something unfamiliar: caution and respect. A new chapter begins. The Xylarian ship departed, its data streams full of awe and warnings, carrying news to the wider galaxy. The humans had arrived, and they were not to be underestimated. As the Argus returned to Earth orbit, celebrations erupted planet-wide. Humanity looked to the stars not as subjects, but as equals, and perhaps as leaders. The age of isolation was over. The age of humanity had begun. The Galactic Challenge E galaxy in upheaval. Xylarian vessel's departure sent ripples across the stars. Within days, strange signals flickered through the interstellar relay web's coded messages. Open calls, panicked warnings. By tradition, any species accepted into the communion of worlds had to face the Galactic Challenge, a rite both ceremonial and pragmatic, designed to assess strength, ingenuity, and diplomacy. For eons, no civilization had passed the challenge without concessions or humiliation. Some crumbled, some submitted. None had ever entered the arena with the calm self-assurance now associated with the newcomers. From Sol, Earth's networks buzzed with speculation. Would humanity be tested by war, by peace, or by something stranger? The United Earth Federation's council, now watched by billions, convened to select its champions. Scientists, diplomats, strategists, philosophers all nominated names, but the final choices were unanimous. Captain Kara Jansen, the soldier who had already become a symbol of humanity's courage; Dr. Alexis Okoye, the linguistic genius and empath; Jinming Han, a quantum engineer whose innovations powered the Argus and much of Earth's new technology; Sanvi Rao, an artist, philosopher, and conduit, whose psionic insights defied conventional science. They would face the challenge not only for Earth, but for every world watching. Olaris Prime, Rena of the stars chosen for, arrived at Olaris Prime, a world crafted for spectacle. Its continents shifted hourly, shaped by nanomachines and tectonic shapers. Orbiting satellites projected every event across the galaxy. Crowds of delegates, some in physical form, some as holographic avatars or bioemissaries, gathered in floating galleries. The challenge would span 7 days and 7 trials, each hosted by a different species, designed to test a crucial quality: innovation, strategy, diplomacy, empathy, endurance, ethics. Unitith first day dawned with a sky that danced in auroras, as if the planet itself watched in anticipation. Trial 1, Innovation. First trial came from the Tadran, silicon-based beings who worshipped creativity. The problem: an artificial moon's core was collapsing, threatening to rain radioactive shards upon Olaris. Contestants had 2 hours to stabilize or neutralize it, using any means but only tools they could fabricate on site, while others scrambled with brute force or panicked improvisation. Humanity's team went to work as one. Jinming Han coordinated. Kara and Sanvi constructed quantum scaffolds. Out of surrounding regolith and nanogels, Dr. Okoye spoke to the moon's AI in its primal code, soothing its panic. Minutes before the core would have ruptured, Han unleashed a calculated burst from a jury-rigged gravity pump, restoring balance. The Tadran awarded a standing ovation. Trial 2, strategized by the Ulanth, who believed all conflict was a grand game. Teams entered a simulated war zone, desert, city, and orbital in one seamless simulation. The objective: secure 3 points while protecting a convoy of refugees. Other teams chose offense or defense. Humanity did both. Kara commanded their avatars with battlefield intuition. Sanvi's psionics sensed opponents' intent, letting them dodge traps and outflank ambushes. Rather than destroy rivals, they negotiated temporary truces, dividing the field and conserving resources. In the final moments, they sacrificed their strongest asset, a decoy fleet, to secure the refugees' safety. When the simulation ended, both allies and competitors nodded in respect. Trial 3, Diplomacithus, was the Xylarians' trial. Contestants faced a diplomatic crisis between the amphibious Darish and the nomadic Raxari, whose homeworlds orbited the same binary sun. Hostilities had nearly erupted into open war. Dr. Okoye listened, translating not just words, but body language, scent, and psychic undertones. Sanvi amplified empathy through her conduit ability, letting both sides feel each other's pain and hopes. Kara and Han offered practical solutions: shared water terraforming, rotating stewardship of the contested system, and a joint archive of both cultures' histories. The result: not only a truce, but the signing of a binding peace. The Galactic Council cheered. Old enemies embraced. Some even wept, the turning tide with every victory. Humanity's reputation grew. The delegates from older, prouder civilizations, some who had once conquered others, began to feel fear. Whispers grew of the human ascendancy. Some plotted sabotage, others offered alliances. But not all challenges were so easily solved. On the 4th day, during the trial of Endurance, a labyrinth designed to exhaust both body and mind, Kara Jansen nearly died, separated from the team and tormented by illusions of her past failures. Only a risky psionic link from Sanvi pulled her back, nearly at the cost of Sanvi's own consciousness. The galaxy watched, spellbound, as the team staggered out, wounded but together. Ethics and Unitith penultimate trial tested ethics, a scenario in which one could save a city, but only by sacrificing innocence elsewhere. Humanity's answer stunned the judges. They refused the terms of the test, instead finding a third way: hacking the simulation itself to break the binary choice, saving both, but exposing themselves to risk. It was not a clean victory, but it was a distinctly human one. The final trial was unity. Teams were asked to face a collective threat, a viral AI that could consume their systems, bodies, even thoughts, instead of seeking individual triumph. Humanity linked with their rivals, forming a network of minds across species and cultures, repelling the viral threat through shared memory and purpose. When the trial ended, the world of Alaris Prime thundered with applause, real and virtual. Verdict of the Council in the Grand Council Chamber, beneath a dome of shifting stars. The Galactic Council pronounced judgment. Earth and her children have shown innovation, valor, wisdom, and above all a will to unite, not by conquest, but by compassion and adaptability. For this, we name humanity the supreme force of this era, not as rulers, but as standard bearers for all sentient life. The proclamation echoed through the stars. Earth was no longer a mere member of the communion. It was the heart. Yet even as celebration swept the galaxy, a shadow passed unnoticed. Far beyond Alaris, in the uncharted dark, ancient powers long silent began to awaken. Reverberations across the starsnews of humanity's ascension. As the supreme force reverberated through the spiral arms of the galaxy, centuries-old alliances reeled. The old power blocks debated feverishly. Some worlds celebrated, hoping humanity's rise would break the ancient hegemony of the Xylarians and their peers. Others stewed in envy or dread. Back on Earth, the homeworld became a beacon for both curiosity and concern. The spaceports of Luna, Mars, and the floating cities of Jupiter's clouds buzzed with visitors, scientists, envoys, and spies from every corner of the communion. The Argus itself, freshly returned from Alaris Prime, now hovered in geosynchronous orbit over the Atlantic, its hull glittering with honor glyphs projected by friendly ships. But not all eyes watching Earth were friendly. Xylarians seek understanding. Winton, a crystalline chamber aboard their great ship, the Xylarian envoys convened in secret. Their pride was wounded, their curiosity burning. How had humanity whose history was a mere blink compared to their own, managed to outpace the greatest civilizations in the galaxy Veil. Their leader authorized a covert mission, disguised as civilian scholars. Xylarian researchers descended to Earth, intent on uncovering humanity's secrets. Their first stop, the memory vaults of Alexandria, an orbital library containing humanity's complete history. From cave paintings to the rise of interstellar travel. As they read, the Xylarians were astonished. Humanity's path was not one of steady progress, but a saga of calamity and renewal, plagues, wars, extinctions, renaissances, technological booms, and dark ages. Each time, humans not only survived, but emerged stronger, more creative, and more united. More shocking was the sheer diversity of thought and culture. Human art was not just beauty, but protest. Philosophy was not static, but restless. Science was never settled, always questioned, always challenged. Where Xylarians prized harmony and efficiency, humans thrived on discord and invention. The progenitor Relixiat. There was more. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, the Xylarians followed rumors of strange energies. There, within a hidden cavern, Earth's archaeologists working alongside trusted alien allies had uncovered relics, older than any human civilization. The artifacts pulsed with quantum signatures that defied analysis. Some appeared to be technology, others living metal or crystalline lattices that reacted to thought. The carvings matched no language in the communion, but human researchers called them celestial glyphs. When Vale reached out to touch a relic, it shimmered and whispered in a language neither human nor Xylarian. Dr. Alexis Okoye, present as chief linguist, watched in awe. It's not just a message, she realized. It's a memory, a living record. Through neural links, the humans and Xylarians shared a vision, a great progenitor race, the Celestials, guiding the early biospheres of 1,000 worlds. On Earth, they seeded the building blocks of intelligence, then vanished before humanity walked upright. Vale was shaken. Your supremacy is not only your own doing. The Celestials planted a legacy within you, but you forged that legacy into something new, something unpredictable. The synergy revealedward spread quietly to the other great powers. The supremacy of humanity was not an accident, nor was it entirely engineered. It was the result of three forces, fused in Earth's crucible: inheritance, the dormant gifts of the Celestials, encoded in the very DNA of humanity, unlocked as they advanced; adaptation, millennia of hardship and hope, of conflict and collaboration, shaping a people who could think, feel, and imagine beyond mere survival; integration, the unique human drive to synthesize, melding technology, biology, culture, and even psionics into a singular, flexible whole. Humanity was a living paradox, competitive yet communal, logical yet passionate, innovative yet traditional. Every crisis became an opportunity, every limit a new frontier. New friends, new enemies. With this revelation, old foes reconsidered their stances. The Xylarians, now awed rather than threatened, petitioned for a new alliance. The Darish and Raxari, grateful for humanity's diplomacy, offered rare mineral rights and joint research missions. But elsewhere, the reaction was darker. In the icy voids beyond the galactic rim, agents of the Viroth hive long silent. Ancient rivals of the Celestials awoke to the news. Their intelligence webs pulsed with a single command: observe, infiltrate, eliminate if necessary. Even within the communion, jealous factions whispered that the new supreme force must be contained. Some plotted sabotage, others subterfuge. Humanity, ever perceptive, did not ignore these signs. On the Argus, Admiral Chowdhury called an emergency council. Supremacy does not mean invulnerability, she warned. We have been tested. Now we must prepare to be targeted. Awakening the legacy in research labs from Nairobi to New Delhi, new projects accelerated. Scientists used the celestial relics to unlock new forms of energy, faster than light communication, and even limited glimpses into the fabric of spacetime itself. Artists began weaving celestial motifs into their creations. Children dreamed of stars in ways no human child ever had before. Meanwhile, a secret order formed, the Starbound Keepers, a coalition of humans and alien allies sworn to defend Earth's legacy against all threats, internal and external. seen and unseen. The era of supreme power brought not just prestige, but responsibility and peril. Earth's people were now guardians of a secret, custodians of a destiny they had only begun to understand. A storm on the horizon across the void, in a sector charted only in forbidden texts. The Viroth hive's queen stirred, her mind touched. The ancient warnings, if the celestial fire is rekindled, the galaxy will burn or be remade. The storm was coming, but for the first time in history, humanity would not meet it alone. New era, new threats. Dawn of humanity's supremacy cast a golden glow across the galactic core and its outermost spiral arms, in every corner of the communion of worlds. Species watched as Earth's star rose in stature, a symbol of unity, innovation, and resilience. But with the sun came the shadows. Rumors of ancient enemies and long-slumbering threats began to circulate, riding the data currents of the interstellar webs. Inside Earth's domed city of New Geneva, the United Earth Federation, UEF Council, gathered in a chamber lined with living vines, bioluminescent plants that pulsed gently. With the rhythm of the city, floating holograms displayed the faces of allies and rivals, the crystalline Xylarians, the amphibious Darish, the nomadic Raxari, and others. Admiral Naima Chowdhury stood at the center, radiating a calm determination. Supremacy is not conquest, she said. We have a duty. We must lead, not rule. And we must defend the peace we have won, not just for ourselves, but for all, across the galaxy. New threats coalesced. The Viroth hive, awakened by humanity's rise, began to send infiltrators, living shadows able to mimic any form. Fissures appeared in ancient alliances, as old powers wondered if humanity's leadership would unbalance the galaxy. And in the quietest corners of deep space, celestial relics pulsed with increasing urgency, as if anticipating a challenge only humans could meet. Forging new alliances, humanity did not face the future alone. Earth's diplomats and visionaries forged alliances stronger than any before. The Xylarian Collective, once rivals, now worked side by side with human scientists, combining their bioengineering prowess with Earth's adaptable nanotech to create living cities, sprawling habitats that grew, learned, and healed themselves. On Mars, joint academies welcomed alien students. On the moons of Jupiter, Raxari traders and Darish engineers helped build vast stargates, opening new corridors to the unexplored fringes. Art, music, and language flowed in a wave of cultural fusion never before seen. But there were challenges, too, as the starbound keepers tracked rumors of Viroth infiltration. The galaxy's oldest artificial intelligence, the Archivist, issued a warning. The hive does not seek war. It seeks silence. It will try to erase what you have become, quietly, utterly. Be ready. The test of leadership warning proved timely. On the eve of Earth's first anniversary as the galaxy's supreme force, a sudden crisis erupted. The capital city of Alaris Prime, site of the Galactic Council, was thrown into chaos. Comms went dead, energy grids failed, and whispers spread of shadowy figures disrupting vital systems. Captain Kara Jansen, now commander of the Argus, led the response, working alongside Xylarian tactician Vale and Darish empath Yelka. She coordinated a rapid deployment. Human and alien teams worked seamlessly, tracing the sabotage to its source. A Viroth cell had infiltrated the Council's core. A fierce battle erupted, not of guns, but of minds. The Viroth were psychic parasites, able to possess and confuse. Sanvi Rao, humanity's leading conduit, linked the defenders in a network of thought and memory, allowing them to resist the invaders' illusions. At the height of the struggle, Sanvi touched the celestial relic at the Council's heart. Visions flooded her, not of war, but of harmony, a memory of the Celestials themselves, turning back a tide of darkness, not with violence, but with a force of unity. Sanvi spoke, her voice amplified by the relic and the minds of 1,000 listeners. We are not alone. Our strength is shared. This is the dawn of the many, not the few. With a final surge, the Viroth presence was expelled, their network disrupted by the very diversity and unity they sought to extinguish. The dawn's spread of humanity's victory, not just over the Viroth, but over division itself. Worlds once suspicious of Earth now pledged new alliances. The Xylarians ceded leadership of the Communion's scientific council to a joint human-alien team. The Darish and Raxari, inspired by the peace forged at Alaris, proposed a new exploration fleet, open to all species. On Earth, children dreamed in alien languages. The ancient relics, once silent, now pulsed gently in synchrony, a sign, perhaps, that humanity's legacy was not to dominate, but to illuminate. In the Argus Observation Lounge, Admiral Chowdhury and Commander Jansen gazed out at a starfield teeming with promise. "We've survived the test," Chowdhury said softly. Jansen smiled. "Now comes the real work, making sure everyone has a place in this dawn." A Numasi Omthi Galactic Council voted to establish the Dawn Initiative, a grand mission to explore the uncharted zones beyond the Rim, to seek out lost civilizations, and to awaken any who slumbered in darkness or fear. Humanity's leadership was not unchallenged nor absolute, but it was now respected. Its roots in the very traits that had once threatened to tear Earth apart: curiosity, stubbornness, compassion, and hope. As the Dawn fleet set sail, ships in cruise from dozens of worlds, human and alien alike, the galaxy shimmered with possibility. For in the end, the greatest force in the galaxy was not just power or knowledge, but the courage to face the unknown together.